Hello everybody, this is Carlos from Novel, and this is what a day off this is what a day off looks like for an entrepreneur. We're doing takeoffs and getting these bids together and getting formulas together for glass beads. This is something that while we're on a road crew, I can never seem to get right. Seems like we're always running out of glass beads. So I figure we'll do an experiment today. We're gonna simulate throwing glass beads on a 10-foot normal road sign. You got 10 feet in between cones there, and we're out in the middle of the street. We love playing in the street, but we're gonna be safe. I got my safety vest on, even though I'm on a residential in front of my house. But we're gonna simulate throwing these glass beads as our crew does, so that we can get a proper measurement of how much is being thrown per strike. Okay, here we go. So they would take it in hand, and it's almost like a bowler's throw. They kind of, so that would be one. All right, and then they do two, and that would be three. So that right there, that's about how much glass beads are thrown on a 10-foot line. All right, now we're gonna go measure it up and see what we come out with. Pause. All right, we got our kitchen scale out here. Got our tear weight in grams, 0, and this is what we threw. Get out of there. Get out of there now. All right. So 75 grams is one line. Pause. And so now we come to the calculation. So we've done our experiment outside. We did it safely. And now we're inside. Let's look at some calculations. So first we got to look at our conversions. Typical conversions from grams to ounces. Oh, a gram is about 0.035 ounces, and then an ounce is about 0.06 pounds. When you're looking at these glass beads, remember that's what we're talking about. Glass beads for a DOT job that you may have. And let me lay the groundwork too. This is if you're throwing the beads yourself, right? So if you have a paint truck or a drive liner that already has the beads automatically vacuum. This is the opposite of vacuum, blown onto the lines. This is not that type of deal. This is when you're throwing them, hand throwing lines of beads. And then a mile is 5,280 feet. Some assumptions. Again, we're talking about 4-inch wide, manually sprayed lines, 3 throws per 10-foot line. Typically, a road line skip is about 10 feet, 25 grams per throw, and typically you have 1 skip line per 40 feet. Okay? Recall our experiment. For that 10 linear foot of skip, we had 75 grams. That breaks down to 7.5 grams per foot, per linear foot. So using our conversion, that's 0.265 ounces per foot. I don't really care about ounces. What we really care about is pounds, and that's 0.017 pounds. All right, so now we get to the good part, the meat of it. If we're talking about, so here's just some general field calculations that you're just going to need most likely. Feet per X miles if it's solid, right? So then that's just a straight calculation of feet per mile. And so let's say X is 17 miles. That would be 89,760 feet. Okay, and if it's solid, then that's what you're going to go with, 89,760 feet. But what if you got skips? So like we said before, typically skips are going to be 1 skip per 40 feet. So on that same calculation, 17 miles, you would actually have the painted surface, the amount of paint that you're putting down will be 22,440 linears. See that? And if our calculations are right, so that should be 1/4 of a solid line. So that divided by 4 is 22,440. So we're right on the money. But what about beads? How many, because we're trying to get to, during our takeoffs, how many bags of beads do we need to buy for a particular job on road construction where we're throwing beads out there? And I got to tell you, we just did some jobs that 17 feet is near, 17 miles is near and dear to my heart because we did that. We did 17 miles worth of skips. And we just kept running out of glass beads. And just because I didn't calculate it, because I didn't know how to calculate it. So that's why we did that experiment, and that's why we're going to get close at least with this, right? So pounds per 1,000 linear foot would be 16.5 pounds of glass beads. Pounds per X linear feet would be, and if X was, all right, let me say that differently. Pounds per X linear feet, right? Because chances are you having exactly 1,000 linear feet is slim enough. But you may have, just like we did before, you may have this 17 miles, so that's 89,760, which would come to 1,484 pounds of beads if you were doing solids. So that would be 30 bags, because their bags are in 50-pound bags. But what if you were doing skips? I'm glad you asked. So then you would put that 22,440 in there, and that would be 8 bags. That's a drastic difference. See that? That's why we have to use these types of calculators. We can't just go by knowing what the total amount is, because skips is drastically lower. And hopefully this helps you from the experiment of doing the throws and then getting down to how many bags you would actually have to buy. All right? Good luck out there. And most important, stay safe. That's the most important thing. All right. God bless.